For more on this, let's bring in Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Governor, thanks for joining us. I don't feel like being nice to you. I'm at the NASDAQ, and I'm in New York City, where we have the New York Stock Exchange. Everything's moving to Texas. Can't you just leave well enough alone at this point? What are you doing?
So, first of all, listen, I have great respect for the NASDAQ, for the New York Stock Exchange, but also one thing that we believe in, and that is competition as well as capitalism. And we want to make sure that Texas, which I think may be the #1 state for listings on the New York Stock Exchange, is going to provide the opportunity to expand capitalism for companies whose only agenda is capitalism, as opposed to certain other ideologies that may be forced upon them by these other exchanges. And so, listen, we know the difficulty factor about starting something like this.
No, I was just playing devil's advocate there. When you look at a lot of the things that go on in New York City, and a lot of the regulations, and perhaps a financial transaction drive, you've got ESG, board members of certain companies have to comply with ESG. I think it's pretty rich that BlackRock, really the company that spearheaded all that stuff, is helping out here. I don't understand how that works.
Well, BlackRock has been working to try to eliminate, the tarnish on their reputation by using ESG. Remember, Texas passed a law that banned ESG and punished companies like BlackRock. And now the ESG movement is changing dramatically. And this is particularly important to the state of Texas, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to establish capital markets here in the state of Texas, because think of the prolific oil and gas industry that's not going away. It's going to be here for the rest of your life. And we need to make sure that Texas companies and companies similarly situated are not going to be cut off from capital markets in New York with policy decisions made from the left in places like New York. And we think because of that, and because of some other reasons, there actually is a big market opening for this stock exchange in the state of Texas.
Yeah, and I know it's been something that the state has wanted to do for a while. Probably will work this time. Can we talk about just some of the border stuff that we're seeing now,
Sure.
and some of the president's comments? Because both sides know how to work things, obviously, and know how to utilize. I don't know whether it's electioneering, but does he have a point when he says that the most comprehensive bipartisan border bill, that Republicans didn't back it because Donald Trump told them not to back it, and now he's forced to have to do something? Republicans gave him that ability to use that talking point.
So it's a complete false narrative. For one, there was never a border bill that came close to being comprehensive. Remember that on the Senate bill, that was cobbled together to be added on to the Ukraine funding bill. And I can tell you, from having looked at it and having dealt with the border, what the border bill proposed by Democrats in the Senate proposed to do was going to open up the border even more. Remember this also. There actually was a border bill actually passed by one of the two chambers in Washington, D.C., and that is H.R. 2 by the U.S. House of Representatives. That is a border bill. If Biden really and the Democrats really wanted to do something about it, they should have started with negotiating the border bill passed actually out of the House of Representatives and try to make modifications that they wanted to make to that. But more important is this. What Biden did by this executive order does absolutely nothing to close the border, to deny illegal entry, to stop the massive number of people coming across the border. To the contrary, it actually increases the enticement of people coming into the country illegally. Think about what you've seen in the aftermath of that executive order. Have you seen a stoppage of people coming across the border? Have you seen any enforcement action by the United States on the border? Of course, the answer is no. And so this proposal by Biden is grasping at straws, getting close to the election, that not only will not do anything to secure the border, it actually will entice even more people to cross the border illegally.
And Well, we could talk about this all day, and we got about a minute left. I've seen that there's 4 leading individuals now for vice president, but there might be a dark horse, in the end. Has it ever occurred to you that you could be a dark horse for former President Trump's VP pick, Governor?
Listen, it actually came up by President Trump on another network show where he brought it up. And listen, it's always nice to be thought of. But the fact of the matter is, my focus is solely on the state of Texas and what I'm going to be doing to advance the state of Texas. You know, I can tell you this, and that is the most important political job in the United States, obviously, as president. But the second most important political job in the country is being governor of Texas. Because if we lose Texas, we lose the United States of America.
But you mentioned another network, so I might as well just think about what kind of questions you would be asked on other unnamed networks. But do you think it would tarnish your reputation to be picked as a vice president for a convicted felon?
Not at all, because the reality, I'll tell you what, I'm a former trial court judge. And the reality is the rulings made by this trial judge in New York are completely wrong in so many respects. Look at the jury charge alone. And so there's every reason to expect this decision to be overturned. But also most Americans view this as a miscarriage of justice. And you can see it in the fundraising numbers, the polling numbers that Trump has been able to receive in the aftermath of it. And also, maybe in part because of this, maybe for other reasons, you're seeing Trump gain more support in the black community, in the Hispanic community, and all communities across the United States of America. This is not a prosecution. This is a persecution.
Yeah. Governor, it won't be till after the election, though, the appeal. It almost reminded me, though, of remember Harry Reid said Mitt Romney never paid a dime in taxes, and then after the election, after he lost, it came out that he had been paying all along, and Harry Reid said, well, it worked, didn't it? So, I mean, you can't, that doesn't matter that it could be overturned. They've got this to use now, Democrats, between now and the election, and they're going to, it's the most. Probably if you Google it now, convicted felon is the most Googled term in the English language right now for how often it's being used.
All I can tell you, Joe, is what the public has shown in the aftermath of this. And that is, it is not hindering President Trump at all. He seems to be gaining from it as opposed to losing from it.
Governor, thank you for coming on today. Good to have you on. Good luck.